Madam Chair and Commissioners, we're ready to begin the meeting.
Okay, welcome everybody. We've got a full house today. It's awesome. All right. All right, so the mission of the Meridian Arts Commission is to develop, enhance, and nurture all facets of the arts to enhance the quality of life for Meridian residents and its visitors. And I think we're doing a pretty darn good job with it. Okay, roll call. Lizzie Taylor. Here. Sean Muscolo. Brecken Bird. Crystal Paulson. Here. Patrick O'Leary. Here. Bobby Gaitan. Here. Hannah Scoville.
Here.
Vasile Ivanov.
Here.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Last meeting of the year. Okay, we are looking for a motion to adopt the agenda.
Madam Chair, so moved.
Commissioner Taylor moves, Commissioner Muscolo seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Madam Commissioner, I move we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner O'Leary moves, Commissioner Taylor seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Sean, I don't know if you know this, you have to push the button here and you'll get a green light to talk. So you don't have to keep it on. No, push the button in front of the. This is not working.
Normally you would do that.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not a green light, it's a no light.
So no, I guess. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
So you can hear me. So you can hear me.
We can hear you. Yeah, you have to get kind of up a little close. Okay, next, looking for approval of our monthly financial statement. Does anyone have any questions about the statement? Okay. Have a motion?
Madam Chair, so moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Taylor moves, Commissioner Scoville seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next is our presentation with Lauren Kistner. Was she able to join us today?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I thought she was attending, but I'm not seeing her online. I'll try and send her a quick email. Maybe if you want to table this one and move on to the next items.
All right, we are tabling that. Moving on. So next, review and recommend our FY24 call for youth performing arts projects request for proposals. Go ahead, Cassie.
Hi. So Madam Chair and Commissioners, the proposal is very similar to last year. There's just some changes for dates and a couple of word choice things, but it's really quite similar to last year. And for those of you that are new, this is a call for performing arts projects for youth. We would like to distribute this far and wide to get more proposals. And then later, after the call closes, then commissioners all get a chance to score the proposals and decide how and if to award funding to the projects.
Excellent. And they are required to have at least one performance in Meridian, right?
Yes, but for the projects that we fund, yes, they need to be mostly benefiting Meridian residents. So the project needs to be in Meridian.
Great.
But the organization or individual does not need to be in Meridian.
Yes, thank you. Anyone have any questions about this? If not, we'll look for a motion to recommend or approve.
Approve.
Okay, we're looking for a motion to approve the call to artists.
I move that we approve the call to artists.
I second.
Okay. Commissioner Paulson moves. Was it you, Brecken? Okay, Commissioner Bird seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Next, similar review and recommend our transit stop shelter public art project call for artists.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, we've talked about this project a few times in the past, and the Public Art Committee took a pretty good look at this and has recommended this. We had some edits. I've made all of those edits. I think it's ready for approval, but hopefully you got a chance to review and open for any questions on that.
I have a question. So as I was reading through it, it was talking about it being a proposal. Have we put out to artists yet the call, or is it still in the process of approval?
If the Arts Commission approves this proposal, then it will be released to the public in the next couple weeks. So not yet.
I have a question. On the picture of the shelters, and I may have missed it in reading it, do the artists, are they requested to keep and provide the same information that already exists within each shelter?
Commissioner O'Leary, good question. So no, the graphics that are on the shelters now, Valley Regional Transit has requested that it stays on there until the installation, but that would come down and it would be the artwork and not any of the graphics that are on there now.
Anyone else? Yeah, we'll look for a motion to approve this call for artists.
I motion that we approve this call to artists.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Paulson moves, Commissioner Taylor seconds, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, we are just running through these. Okay, number 6, review 2023 all commission goals and priorities. So this is the list of goals and priorities that are at the end of our agenda each month. And so each year, at the beginning of the year, we establish new goals and priorities. So today I wanted to just look through these, see which ones we have accomplished and celebrate that. If there are any that we haven't accomplished that we want to keep on for next year, then we will identify those. And then I think in January, then we will identify new goals and priorities for the coming year. Oh, no, we are doing that today, actually. Recommend new goals for 2024. Sorry. So Cassie, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, so Madam Chair and Commissioners, hopefully, are you seeing this on your screens up there? Okay, so these are the goals from 2023. So I've already gone through, and this is just a draft at this point. So this is a discussion. I've gone through to edit them and suggest new goals. So we'll just go through these kind of one by one. So number 1 was support the completion of the, okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. We're going to go through these, get some edits. What will happen is on the right side, this is what we had for this last year, and update that. And then the goals on the right-hand side are the goals for next year. And then what will happen is once you agree on the goals, then you all will go through and you'll look at, okay, this is A, B, C, and then you'll assign a ranking number to it. So like if you think that engage the community through Art Week is the most important thing, you'll put a 1. If you think this is the second most important thing, you'll put a 2, so you'll rank it. And then the commissioners, you'll give me in order, like, so if you have a piece of scratch paper, it will probably be helpful at this point. I think there's pens and either little sticky notes and things that everyone's, not desk, but your, your area. And then I'll go through and then we'll rank the goals for next year. It'll probably make a little more sense as we go through it. Do you have questions on the process? Hearing none, I'll jump in. Okay. So number 1, support the completion of the Meridian mural series at the Ward Pool. Completed, yay. And that was the final one in a series of 3. So not only is that goal for this year, that's kind of an ongoing project for the past several years that's completed. So excited about that. So suggested a new one, use the call to artists to select and commission artists to create new artwork for installation on the Meridian transit stop shelters. Number 2, support the completion of water metrics artwork at the 5 Mile Creek Pathway Trail Hub. Also completed, yay. So with this one, I took a cue from the Parks and Rec Commission because they have a very similar goal, which is to participate in the partnership. And on theirs, it says with the Arts Commission. And Parks and Rec staff and commission to add theming and identity reinforcing art in Meridian Parks and Pathways. The focus this year is on Chateau Park and Fuller Park. So a quick note on those, Chateau Park is a Parks and Rec project, so that's with their budget, not with MAPS funds. And Fuller Park is the one that we are discussing in the Public Art Committee, and that's on the Public Art Plan for MAPS funds. But we would partner probably by having some of the Parks and Rec commissioners on the selection committee for those projects. Number 3, program monthly initial point gallery exhibits, host opening receptions, and market the yearly call to artists with the selection panel for new exhibits. No change there. That's something we do that's ongoing. Increase inclusive programming through representation of diverse populations and marketing to underserved and underrepresented populations. Something we plan to continue to do. Engage the community through Art Week and then Red in 2024 and participate in programming and marketing events. Concerts on Broadway in 2024. And then number 7 was one of the goals, pursue development and completion of a public art plan through researching options from professional public arts contractors. That is something that the commission did. There was not really any funding available. So what happened is we came up with the public artwork plan that the commission approved. So that's more or less completed through that. So my suggestion was to have the goal be participate in planning for new MAPS projects and future updates to the Meridian Art and Public Spaces MAPS public art work plan, and focus this year on Fuller Park and Linder overpass projects. So I know that there's a little bit of crossover with Fuller Park here and Fuller Park here, but this is kind of related to MAPS and things that are funded by the Meridian Art and Public Spaces Fund. And this is more doing a partnership with the Parks and Rec Commission for the ones that are in parks. Any questions? We're about halfway through with these. Any questions at this point? Okay, we'll move on. Maintain the traffic box series, and I did update a little bit of the wording here to select the WASD, which is West Ada School District artworks, recommend locations, and use call to artists to commission installation of new traffic box wraps. So just a few slight word changes, but otherwise the same goal. And this one's the call for performing arts projects, which the commission just recommended, but I just took out the word new since now this will be the second year that we're doing this. Support the, instead of development, the completion of the Discovery Park Phase 2 public art projects, and the 2 that are left are Fanfare by Steve Parker and the Peregrine Bike Racks by Colin Selig. Then this one is, this had present the, and it had 2023. That's not something we ended up doing last year. A little bit of discussion about having this be a biennial. So I added 2024 and biennial Tammy DeVeard's Awards in the Arts. And then this was develop a prioritization list of ongoing and future public art projects. And this was also kind of completed with the public artwork plan. So any other goals, suggestions, comments, word choices, things that you want to put out there?
Cassie, is there any process we have or steps to reach out to the public for suggestions, recommendations for public art locations for public art work projects, and interacting with the community, or is that even possible?
Commissioner O'Leary, thanks. That's a good question. It's probably on a project by project basis. So that's something that could be part of one of the upcoming projects. And we have reached out to the public, not for a while, or if in creating a new work plan, it could potentially happen during the work plan stage. So yes, although there hasn't been a lot of public outreach for the projects, I think that's the answer.
Cassie, I just want to further speak to that. In 2020, I think we've talked about, we did a public survey about public art. It was kind of an online survey and we got a couple hundred responses actually. And it was sort of the initial part of what we were hoping would be the public art plan process. So even if we're not moving forward with a full public art plan at this time, it may be a good opportunity for us to again conduct a survey. If we can find funding to hire someone to help us execute that survey. We can reach out to folks and find out, what their priorities are in terms of, we've grown a lot since 2022, so things may have changed in the community. So folks identifying locations or themes, other things that they may be interested in with regard to public art. That's a good idea to do that. And yeah, like Cassie said, it could be part of that public art work plan process.
Thank you for the reminder, Madam Chair. And actually, I should, after the meeting, I'll send that survey out to everyone so everyone has a copy. It is a really great document.
Right. Well, I think this looks great. Thank you, Cassie, for putting this together. Sounds like no one else has questions. So at this point, I think we're going to each be sort of putting these in order in terms of, ranking them, our own individual priorities. And then Cassie, you'll go through and have us read those out. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll take like 5 minutes and
Mhm.
everyone can kind of think about it. And I also want to note that just because the ranking is higher or lower doesn't mean that we're going to try to do all of these things. But this is just kind of a little bit of a prioritization and thinking about the goals.
And question, we have enough money to do all of them, correct?
Good question. We will not do anything that is outside of budget. None of these are tied to specific budget, so no worries there.
So Cassie, I just want to note your spreadsheet says 12 is lowest priority, but I think we only have 11. How are we doing? Anyone need another minute? All good? Okay. Cassie, we're ready when you are.
Okay, who's ready to go first? Sean? Okay.
I'll just read them in order from A through K. Okay?
Okay.
7, 2, 1, 9, 3, 5, 8, 6, 10, 4, 11.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll go next. 4, 5, 3, 2, 8, 6, 9, 10, 7, 1, 11. Who's next?
I can go. 2, 4, 3, 8, 6, 7, 5, 10, 9, 1, 11.
I'll go 7, 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 9, 4, 3.
I'll go, I'll go. Cassie, are you ready? Pardon me. 2, 8, 1, 10, 5, 6, 8, 7, 9, 4, 3.
You ready?
Ready?
This is Bobby. I I got 5, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 6, 7, 10, 1, 11.
Thank you.
No, it's a hard decision.
I can
Yep.
go if you're ready. 4, 3, 8, 1, 5, 6, 9, 2, 10, and 11.
Will you repeat them? I got off somewhere.
Yeah, I might have skipped one.
I think you missed 7.
Did I miss 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Do you want to rework and we can come back? Okay.
Pressure's on, Crystal.
I had to redo mine. I was like, oh, I didn't do that same way. Okay, so I have 5, 6, 4, 2, 1, 3, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 9.
But Patrick, I think you're up. There you go.
There we go. 2, 5, 3, 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Commissioner Byrd, you ready?
I'm so sorry. Let me just repeat it because I got really confused. Um, so 4, 3, 8, 1, 5, 6, 9, 11, 10, and 7.
Still missing one.
Are you serious?
Two, or I think we're missing two.
I'm missing like the number 2 or like my second.
Yeah, like the number two.
Number 2 is 10. Is my 10th spot. But the number, sorry, I think I'm like having a dyslexic moment. Oh, 3? No. Okay, I'm just gonna do this a slow way because I definitely have. Yeah, I'm just messing up. Okay, so 4, 3, 8, 1, 5, 6, 9, 11, 10, 2, and 7. Wow. So sorry. Apologies all around.
No worries. It's kind of a complicated process, especially if you've never done it before. So we're all good.
Now it's my turn to forget what I'm doing. I did it. Okay, so this scores them in order of the lowest score, which is the highest priority, to the highest score. Oh, I think I just said the wrong things, but the highest priority ones are on top with the lowest numbers, and the lower priority ones are on bottom with the higher numbers. So at this point, take a minute to review any questions and comments, and then we'd be looking for a motion to approve these as the 2024 goals.
Cassie, can you scroll down just a little bit more so we can see them all? Any questions? If there are no questions or concern, we'll be looking for a motion to approve our 2024 goals as outlined here on the screen.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Taylor moves, Commissioner Moscolo seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, these are our goals for next year. Looking forward to it. Thanks, everyone. All right, next we're going to move on to reports. So Crystal, do you want to tell us all about the ornament drop and seek event?
Okay, so this year we moved the ornament drop from being 1 day to just over a week, the 1st through the 9th. We did, as many of you were there, we made some ornaments. We invited Parks and Rec people and the Art Commission, and I felt that was pretty successful. And then I feel like, well, a lot of people didn't hashtag it when Cassandra and I dropped off the ornaments. We didn't find that many laying around. So obviously people have been picking them up, dropping it off. And I think for an event that hasn't been super publicized, although Channel 6 did cover it this year, none of the commissioners could be there, but Shelley, she's amazing, and she helped with that, and they did an article on it, and it was great. So I feel like it gained a little momentum. It was that fun story of the holidays that people look forward to. So I feel like in that way, it was a big success and definitely something that could become building up year after year.
Great. Do you think it would be worthwhile to do this again next year?
I think it is. I think it's that fun thing, especially if we could engage with more people as they get to know about it. When we were out and about, we talked to this one guy. He's like, "What are you doing? Is this for your church?" And we're like, "Actually, it's the city of Meridian." So I think just he was excited. He's like, "I'm not bringing my kids down here." So I think it's something that it's small right now, but it could build, and it doesn't take a lot of overhead to run. So.
Is there anything that you would do differently next year?
I don't know that I would do a lot different. If I was going to add to it next year, I would like to invite the public to doing something in conversation. It was mentioned maybe incorporating the technology library and having them print out 3D ornaments. And I thought as someone that teaches and stuff, I could also, they have a nice space there. You could also do where you have paints or pens or whatever, and people are making ornaments. So I'd like to see more community involvement and having things like that.
Any other questions or thoughts about the ornament drop? Anyone drop off an ornament and hear from someone else like that?
Yeah, I think public involvement is a great idea too.
All right. Well, great. Thank you, Crystal.
Just
My pleasure.
to add to that, maybe just do you have themes? I know it's a holiday theme, but is there anything like where you can snowman theme or winterland theme? I guess for me, it's just giving people options to make something based on a theme.
Right. So I did go with a very loose theme when we did our ornaments. I had pictures there that I thought would be easy if someone didn't feel they were artistic. Like we had round little, I would call them cookies, but they're made out of wood pieces. And so like the face of a snowman or something like that. So they had some options, but I think a theme could be fun.
Thinking like a snowflake theme or a cutout shape, maybe giving that to businesses to give out to people to decorate, and maybe there's a contest to see who got who like the nicest ornament that they decorated, turn it into a little contest, but allowing the public to pick up a like a template per se, or and then they can, I don't know, something I see like at Albertsons where it's a coloring sheet, but it's more ornament related.
You're
No.
on.
Oh, sorry.
That would be kind of maybe a part of something that you can do with what you're already doing. And so that would be my recommendation.
We had talked about doing something, maybe adding a partnership with some art stores or something, but I like that idea, like, hey, you're at Deja Brew, do you want to make an ornament for the ornament drop? Take a picture, and then people can vote. Huh?
Turn into a swap, like at this point, I'm just throwing out an idea. Where you decorate something, you bring it back, and you are part of a swap or an art swap.
So would that be more on a specific day? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I'm free. I'm just throwing out ideas at the moment, but no, I think this would have to be very on people's own schedule where they can drop off and pick up.
Maybe have like a basket and you like, it's
Add-
like a leave a penny, take a penny kind of thing. You drop off an ornament that you made and you
Well,
make another one.
No,
No? Okay.
now it turned into that. Initially, it was initially the idea was we provide an ornament template to the public and drop those off in different locations. Public picks up an ornament where they decorate, and with that decoration, they either can turn it back, turn it in back where they got it, and they kind of, it becomes part of a contest. Or they could take a picture of it and, submit it. But we're giving, we're giving in a way an ornament for people to decorate, but at the same time, we're also giving them an opportunity to participate in a contest. Kind of my idea.
Yeah, that makes me wonder whether or not what you were talking about, whether the drop off is something we could do with the schools and school art classes. So that we, if we've got the blank pieces to drop off there, and then I don't know how the judging would go, but to drop them off and then have a teacher or faculty member. I mean, even the students themselves could vote on it, of the best one of that group, just to get schools involved in school art programs. And then now this one you're all going to hate. No. But you did make me think about if there was a way to do, but we'd have to schedule it on a specific day, but do something around those ornaments as a community white elephant Christmas gift day, so that, somebody gets one and shows it to everybody. And if somebody likes it better than the one they've got, they take it and that switch out.
So my biggest thing I think they're great ideas, but the biggest thing is how do you, because it's going to take manpower to make something like that happen. So like businesses, do they want to collect all of these and then they're just going to end up in the trash? So that's my biggest concern, because I do have a big dream that we could get schools involved. And I am picture like, hey, pottery instructors, they'd start at like the beginning of November, so they could be done by December or even the end of October. And it's a fun project that kids could do, and they could do a variety of mediums. And that, I think if you did want to vote on your best, you could maybe put it on the Facebook page or Instagram, whatever, and people just vote for their favorite, but then you still have to have that manpower to go through. Because I personally don't know how to filter through that kind of stuff. It would take manpower to go through and say, oh, okay, that's the winner. And then if that's the winner, are they actually winning something? Or, so I don't think it's bad ideas, but I do think that we have to be willing, if we're putting that out, we have to be willing to do the work for it too.
I mean, I love all these ideas. It's great to hear like the brainstorming going on, but it sounds like it's ballooning from kind of a low effort, like make your own thing and swap it. The same thing we do with Art Week, where we've got the, art drop. It's going from that to something that's a thing at a time when families are really busy anyway, and people are doing a lot of stuff for the holidays. So I love the idea of engaging more of the community, but we have to think about, what's the ultimate goal here for whatever this is. So if it's just a fun way to get the community participating in holiday festivities, that's awesome. But like Crystal said, we also have to keep in mind how we're going to do it and when we're all busy around the holidays too. So, I mean, we have time to think about it. So keep it in the back of
Absolutely.
our heads and continue playing this as we get into summer or fall next year. All right. Thanks, Crystal. I'm glad to hear that it went well this year, and good to hear there was, at least some interest in the community, and it's worthwhile doing in the future. So great. And we got some attention from the media. So, okay, public art updates. I will hand it over to Bobby.
Hello, everyone. Madam Chair, at our Public Art Committee meeting, we went over an action item, which was basically the call to artists that we approved today, the call to artists for Meridian Transit Shelter public art. So we went over that and had some edits. We talked over it, and I appreciate everyone's input. And we that's what we worked on for the first part, and then we discussed a few items. The Discovery Park artworks. We talked about the wildlife bench signage, the bike racks, the fanfare sculpture, and the Linder overpass project. We also discussed and the planning of the 2024 traffic box series, mainly to identify the locations, and that's also another topic we'll discuss on today's agenda, but it's to discuss what we discussed, finding locations for the traffic boxes for the upcoming year. We also talked we discussed about the art project over in the Fuller Park. And we have a budget of $50,000 that we have that we're working on putting a public art at the Fuller Park. And so we discussed ideas of how we can use the park, and little homework on our end was just to go visit the park and maybe get inspired on different ideas on how we can locate an area that where a public art can go there. And so, yeah, we went over those things. That's pretty much it. We do not have a public art committee meeting this month, December. We'll follow up in January. Thank you.
All right. Great. Thanks, Bobby. All right, Lizzie, Initial Point Gallery updates.
Let's start this all over again. All right. Madam Chair and Commissioners, as usual, a lot to talk about our exciting Initial Point Gallery. First of all, I would like to thank Brecken for putting together a Excel spreadsheet for who is going to distribute posters and where they're going to distribute them for upcoming exhibits. The three of us who will be primarily involved in that are Sean, Brecken, and myself. We are not calling upon Hannah to do any particular tromping around because Hannah is busy being Hannah right now. Hannah will fill in as Hannah can, but we're not saying you absolutely must. However, if there are other commissioners who are not on Initial Point Gallery Subcommittee who would like on a regular basis to take a poster to this place or a poster to this place on a regular basis, and then take the next one, taking the first one down, because there's nothing worse than seeing a poster for an exhibit that happened a year ago. If anybody would like to do that, please let Brecken know. Brecken is kind of the, the keeper, pardon me, of the Excel spreadsheet for distribution. Brecken and I were able to take up the slack for Sean, who had to be away on family business for the distribution of this last batch, but we're all back to normal. Okay. The current exhibit is Capitol Contemporary Gallery. It is a lovely, lovely exhibit. I want to in particular say to Cassandra, your pieces are stunning. They add appreciably to the quality of the show. I was at the gallery the other day and there were a couple of members of the public there who were absolutely intrigued by the quality. So I think it kind of sets the bar. Obviously, West Ada School District is not going to be necessarily right up there with exhibitors from Capitol Contemporary, but we are definitely on the correct trajectory, and it's an outstanding exhibit. And thank you very much for being a part of it, Cassie. The opening for the current exhibit was the 5th of December. I'm sorry I was unable to attend for the first time in 3 years. Vasil was kind enough to host it and indicates that there were 45 people in attendance. Vasil, can you give us a little bit more insight onto kind of how the feeling was for the evening?
Sure, Lizzie, thank you. It was, even though it was only 45 people and we, of course, always hope for more, folks really spent more time walking around and mingling and viewing the artwork than previous exhibits I've been a part of, that I've attended. So folks really made the most out of it. I think the quality of the artwork was very intriguing and drew people in and created a lot of conversation. I personally spoke to at least a dozen people about, what's your favorite artwork? And most folks had a hard time picking a favorite because there were so many good pieces that really made them feel so many different type of emotions. I think it was that's a good word to use for this show. There was a lot of artworks that invoked emotion. So it was great. We had a great time. I keep saying, oh, but yeah, it was fun. We had a good time, and I really do think that we can't judge this lower attendance than we'd like for the success. It was really good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fasil. The next exhibit is called Dance Study, and it's a collaborative exhibit with Bosco and Ballet Idaho. This is going to be a very, very important show for us because it will be of virtually the same quality as Capitol Contemporary, but with the added component of the dance. So very important that as many of you can take posters around as possible, apart and aside from our core poster distribution gang. The opening is on February 6th. I will be hosting it and will welcome any and all who would like to either just show up to say hi, hopefully with the city council maybe in attendance, or help me co-host. It's really simple. All you have to do is show up, look cute, be nice, and talk to people. Thank you very much.
Great. All right. Thanks, Lizzie. And in case it wasn't clear already, so we usually have the same exhibit for December and January. Folks are busy during the holidays. We don't want to have to mess with putting up and taking down during the holidays. So our next new exhibit will be in February, and yeah, hope to see you all there.
I had a quick question. Do you know when we're gonna get the posters for the Bosco exhibit?
Oh, no, Cassie, do you have that information?
Madam Chair and Commissioner Scoville. So I don't have images yet. Probably the poster mid-January will be ready.
Okay, cool.
Because is there usually a normal time for posters to be out?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, it's usually around the middle of the month, kind of middle to like the 20th, 21st, 22nd, which gives plenty of time to pick them up, take them, email them, do whatever you want with them. But I do urge that if you take a poster someplace and there's an existing one from a prior show, please take it down. Because I want our committee to look like we know what we're doing, because we do. Thanks.
Might be a good idea to, I'm wondering if we can get the posters for this out a little sooner, because it is going to be a bigger show with Ballet Idaho. So if that's possible to have it a little bit earlier and have a couple extra weeks to be getting posters out and about.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, I will defer to Cassandra on that. I expect you are working with both Bosco and Ballet Idaho, so it's a couple of more players than usual, and the holiday and coordinating. So the sooner the better, but again, not too soon, because if you get them out way soon, then it's going to take some of the horsepower away from the existing exhibit, which we also don't want to do. In a couple of cases, I should have mentioned this earlier, entities have taken down a poster because they thought that it was exclusively for the opening reception. So on the posters that I took around last time, I put big honk and black arrows. Exhibit runs through whatever, because people, again, as I've said at least 6 times in the past, people don't read. Oh, opening, take it down the next day. So do something, or call attention to whoever you're giving it to, or put arrows or whatever, because the poster is for the duration of the show, not just the opening. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I will say I have a little insight to the timeline of things because I'm a member of Bosco, but I don't think they're asking for the images of our work until like the 1st or 2nd week of January. So I think the timeline is a bit tight on that one.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, Brecken. That's good insight. Appreciate that. So, all right. Well, we will keep that in mind. Any other comments or questions about the gallery? All right. Inclusivity highlight is me, so. Up and down. All right. Can you guys hear me? All right. First off, I want to say I am not a PowerPoint guru, so please don't judge my PowerPoint skills. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Hanukkah and Jewish art, or as we refer to it, Judaica. Today is the final night of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. I brought my menorah in, if anyone wants to take a look. It was made by an artist, an Israeli artist, a couple of years ago. So I've been lighting it every month, or every day for Hanukkah. And we can do a little pass around. So. Working. Okay, so a couple definitions. So Judaica literally means the literary or historical materials relating to Jews or Judaism. It also refers to things pertaining to Jewish life and customs, especially when of a historical, literary, or artistic nature as books or ritual objects. And it can also refer to Jewish ceremonial art. So sort of the thought is that so a mitzvah, which is the Hebrew word for a religious commandment required by Jewish law, it's also sort of colloquially come to mean a good deed. And so if you perform a mitzvah with an especially beautiful object, it's considered a praiseworthy way of honoring God's commandments. And Judaism has a long tradition of commissioning ritual objects from craftsmen and artists. So you can kind of think of Judaica as functional art. It's a little bit different from functional art in that, when we think of like a cool bike rack or something, the art is first and it's sort of meant to be useful. Whereas, with Judaica, the use comes first and we're making it pretty as sort of an extra, level up for using the object. So some common symbols that you will find in Judaica. So the Star of David, I'm sure you're all very familiar with that. The menorah. So a menorah is any sort of candelabra that can have 7 or 9 branches. If it's meant specifically for Hanukkah, it's called a Chanukiah, and it has to have 9 branches for Hanukkah. The one next to that kind of looks like a hand, that's called a hamsa. And that's actually, it actually comes from Arabic. And so I think it's been adopted in other cultures in the Middle East. And it's meant to sort of ward off evil. You've got like the eye warding off evil there. The far right is an image of Jerusalem, and you can see the temple with the golden dome there in the middle that's very often depicted in Jewish objects. The Hebrew word on the bottom left is chai, and that means life. And so that's often used in celebrations and things like that. You'll see that in jewelry. Next is a tree. So the tree of life is a very big symbol in Jewish culture. And then the dove with the olive branch, that refers to the story of Noah and his ark. And after the flood, Noah sent out a dove to go look for land, and the dove came back with an olive branch. And so that was sort of a symbol of hope and renewal, things like that. There are other symbols that can be used for specific holidays. Pomegranates are very common, especially for Passover, which is a holiday in the spring. So these are some images that you'll see a lot in Judaica. All right, so Hanukkah specifically, in case you guys don't know the story of Hanukkah, we'll go over it very quickly, a little bit of story time here. So in 175 BCE, King Antiochus made it against the law for people to practice Judaism. He wanted them to worship Greek gods instead. And so the Jews refused. And so the king ordered his troops to destroy the Temple of Jerusalem, which is obviously a very important place of worship for Jews. And he replaced all of the Jewish symbols with an altar dedicated to Zeus, the king of the Greek gods. And so the Jews didn't like this very much, and led by Judah the Maccabee, and I think Maccabee is Hebrew for hammer. Yes. They rebelled against the king and defeated him in 164. So a little bit of a battle there for a few years. And so this is probably the part of the story everyone knows. When the Maccabees returned to the temple, they found only 1 jar of oil, just enough, they thought, for 1 night of lights for the temple's candles. But the oil burned for 8 days, which was a miracle, enough time for the victorious Maccabees to find more oil for their sacred candles. So Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 nights. The Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar, so it starts on the 25th of Kislev, which is the 9th month in the Hebrew calendar. And celebrations include lighting of the menorah, playing games of dreidel, and eating fried foods like jelly donuts and latkes, potato latkes. Very greasy holiday. Uh, So here are some, this is a little bit out of order. Here are some examples of general Judaica. So these are, again, ritual objects that are used that have been made especially beautiful. So Kiddush cups. Kiddush is the prayer over wine, which is said during the Sabbath and I think at the beginning of meals. Shabbat candlesticks. So Shabbat is Hebrew for Sabbath. And so we light candles at the beginning of Sabbath, and those are some pretty ornate candlesticks here. Challah, which is a braided bread that we use for celebrations, and a knife and cutting board. A Havdalah candle and holder. So Havdalah is a celebration at the end of Sabbath. So in the Jewish tradition, the Sabbath starts on sundown Friday night and ends sundown on Saturday. So we light a Havdalah candle and say some prayers. A mezuzah is a little sort of container that you can fasten to a door jamb, and it has a scroll inside with a lot of different prayers inside. So it's something that's meant to sort of bless and protect the building or the home. And then specifically for Passover, we have a Seder plate. So Seder means order. There's a whole, it's a couple hours long if you want to do it properly, talking about the story of Passover and using different foods and objects during that time to illustrate the story. And so you've got a fancy Seder plate that holds all the different symbols, and then they're gone over one by one during the Passover Seder. So specifically for Hanukkah, menorahs, and this is just to illustrate they come in all different styles. They really can get pretty artistic. There can be some basic ones like in the top left there, all the way to, you can see a tree there, sort of abstract styles. There's one that's an oil lamp specifically. I've even seen menorahs that are dinosaurs. So maybe not as much art, but fun for the kiddos. Dreidels. So dreidel is a game that is played, and you can see lots of different styles of dreidels. So the one kind of on the bottom right that looks, it's silver and it's very ornate, that is a Yemeni style. And that's a pretty specific style that shows up a lot in Judaica. But you can have all different kinds of styles. The only requirement for a dreidel is it has to have the 4 letters, Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin. And so the top left tells you what to do during your dreidel game there. And so what these mean is a great miracle happened there, referring to the miracle of the oil. So fun fact, in Israel, it is called the great miracle happened here, right? So you have a different letter on the dreidel instead. And that's it. So thanks for playing along, everyone.
Thank you. And Madam Chair and Commissioners, we don't have anyone signed up for upcoming inclusivity highlights in January or February. We do have Commissioner Taylor for March. So if anyone wants to sign up for upcoming inclusivity highlights, just let me know. Or I can also send out the link to just put your name down.
Great. Thanks, Cassie. Okay, so our next meeting is going to be January 11th. And as I mentioned in my email, we will be having elections for chair and vice chair. So if you are interested or you want to know more about what that entails, reach out to myself or Cassie or Crystal is our current vice chair. So I know you've only been vice chair for a couple months, but you can provide your insight from that perspective. All right, and with that, we will look for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Yes.
So I did get an email from Lauren Kistner, who was going to come and present.
Oh, right.
She tried to log on several times. There were some technology things that were happening. So we'll try again next month. And she said maybe it would be easier if she just came in person. So
I agree. All right. Thanks for the follow-up. I had forgotten about that. Okay, now we will take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Paulson moves, Commissioner Taylor seconds. All in favor?
I
Hey, happy holidays, everybody, and happy New Year.